Well. Look where we are right now, and welcome back to another episode of whatever this is. Pokemon Knowledge, I think that's the name of this channel. Oh my god, every day I just turn into a little bit older of a man. Every time I walk outside, I look up at the clouds, and they just make me a little angrier every day. Old man that yells at clouds. Alright, is this title clickbaity? Is it just to, get a response from people? It was either this or something with Frosted Caribou in the title, but I just wanted to. Hey, I got you the click on it, didn't I? Sucker. But Pokemon loves investors, hates poor collectors. Not really not the topic of this video, but maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe we could get there. Usually I could make the title be about it, but no. Seriously, if you guys saw the most recent release, you got a new Destin Rivals Team Rocket box. Team Rocket's Moltres EX Ultra Premium Super Duper Collection box. It's interesting. I don't know why Pokemon keeps doing this. They keep making premium products. Just get the packs out to people. Now, it is interesting because I guess I'll share my screen. If you guys are not familiar, I'm sure there's a million different, yes, use Listerine because a lot of your guys' breath stinks. A lot of you guys, too bad we don't have a deodorant ad right here. Shouldn't be Listerine, should be deodorant because I've been to Collecticons and some of you people really kind of stink. Both in the literal and the figurative. But with that said, a new Team Rockets Moltres EX Premium Collection Box will release in November for the nice little grand total of $119.99. Well, you do get a nice Team Rockets Moltres EX. Now, if you look on the back of the box, it is a stamp promo variant. So I don't know if you can see this. If you look right here, it's kind of hard to see, but it does have a Destin Rivals stamp on it. The same with the full art Moltres and the same with the regular EX Moltres. So, and then you also get 18 packs. This is interesting too, because when you stare at the packs, you would think EX Moltres Team Rocket, you would think Destin Rivals, but you only get 2 Destin Rivals packs. This is very similar to like more of a Charizard UPC S type feel. Charizard UPC where it's kind of more a standalone product, and you get 3 promos in it. Now, that's a bad analogy. The Charizard UPC, all 3 of those promos were exclusive artworks just to the UPC. It didn't have any that's a bad analogy. So, alright, maybe it's not quite like the Charizard UPC, but it's like other UPCs. Or maybe it's like the Greninja UPC. We're going to go with that. This is like the crappy Terrapagos UPC or that crappy Greninja. Now, the difference is the Greninja UPC, it gets a lot of shit. You know what? We're in a very new hobby right now. There's a lot of people who live in this hobby. Don't even know what the Greninja UPC is. You know why? Because it had a shitty promo. The Greninja UPC was 1 promo away from that being a pretty epic product. Now, the Greninja promo that ended up being a promo from the Shrouded Fable special collection box, so you had the Greninja and you had the Kingdra promo. If that promo went into the Greninja UPC, that would be an extremely expensive UPC, and that Greninja card would actually be worth a ton more than it already is now. And not to say that that Greninja card is not already expensive for coming out of a Shrouded Fable product. It is a very, very expensive promo, but you know what? It deserves to be because it's a beautiful looking card. But now, if you took the lower price point for the Shrouded Fable collection box, put it into a more premium product like the Greninja UPC, that card would be crazy. That product would be in such crazy high demand, but it didn't have exclusive artwork. So maybe that's a better example because this doesn't have exclusive artworks. But it's weird because it's got a beautiful SIR, and not just any beautiful SIR. Really, when you think about Japanese, Heatwave Arena, this is the, well, sorry, Heatwave Arena was the Ethan's Ho-Ho. Glory of the Team Rocket. Glory of the Team Rocket. This is one of the 2 big chases, really. Well, there's a couple. I mean, you got the Giovanni's Nidoking, you got the Mewtwo, but this is up there. This is like a top 3, top 2 chase. Team Rocket's Moltres. And adding a stamp to it, it just kind of shows you that if Pokemon wants, they could reprint any card and they could put it in a special collection box. Example being, we were talking about this on my live earlier. There's nothing that says Pokemon can't print the Umbreon SIR from Prismatic Evolutions, stick a stamp on it, and put it in a collection box. Are they going to do that? No. But could there be Well, no. I was going to say, could there... Oh my God, I'm all toast. My brain is toasted tonight. I was going to say, could there be a prismatic UPC? What, we've already seen the prismatic UPC, and it had that exclusive EV card in it. Never mind. Take that back. But, listen, Pokemon can just do this now. This is setting a weird precedent, where you can now start slapping stamps on SIR cards, which are considered like hits from sets. Yeah, it's not the Team Rocket's Mewtwo, but there's not a lot of degrees of separation. Shout out to Kevin Bacon. There's not a lot of degrees of separation from that Mewtwo SIR to this Moltres SIR. Like, nobody really saw this coming, per se. And it sets a weird precedent moving forward that really any card is on the table now. Now, you can say, well, Pokemon's done this pretty recently with Journey Together. You can look at... Shout out to Tap for the for the 10 PK memberships, Tap. I appreciate the support. But you could kind of go back and look at it and say, well, Journey Together, we had the box topper. And the Journey Together, that Reshiram illustration rare is one of the regular IRs in the set. And then we also saw it as the box top promo, and it had the Journey Together stamp on it. Came in a little sealed pack. And you can be like, so Pokemon's been doing that recently? Yes. But that's an IR in the set, and it didn't sneak up on anybody. Meaning, when we were doing our pre-orders for Journey Together, it was already known that there's going to be a booster box, that there's going to be a box topper, and we already knew that what the box topper was going to be. The Ents Reshiram was going to be the box topper. Nobody opened up the first box on release day and said, okay, now we finally know what the box topper is. So that's the difference there, that one didn't really sneak up on us. This Moltres definitely did. The problem is this Moltres now is just causes people to want to even buy this product even more. Like, I get it. You have 18 packs, and it's awesome. You got, what, it looks like, I can't really see. It looks like 2 packs SV base, 2 packs Paldea Evolved, 2 packs Obsidian Flames, 2 packs Paradox, 2 packs Temporal. So pretty much just all the sets right there. Journey Together, Destined Rival. So 2 packs of each. Like, all those are solid sets. When you look at the price per pack from like a booster box, every single one of these booster boxes are super expensive. Every single one of these packs, probably on TCG Player, is currently selling for greater than $5. So there's a lot of value just baked into this product. 18 packs at $5 a piece, that's $90 right there. And honestly, some of these packs are a little bit more. So it's very easy to get to that 120 price point. And because you're so close to that 120 price point, now you're going to add in a Team Rocket's Moltres stamp promo. Now, it brings a question. Could you potentially see a scenario in which this thing gets so overprinted that we've seen what happens to other very expensive premium products that get a lot of ultra premium collections? Example number 1, we mentioned it earlier. Charizard UPC. Charizard UPCs at release, like $300 for pre-orders. Prices, and then people realize that, like, okay, maybe these Charizard UPCs are not that rare. And then, I don't know if you guys could even remember this far, you could go in-store to GameStop and you could do unlimited pre-orders. And then on Walmart.com, you could do pre-order limits up to 10. And it just never kind of went away. And people were like, okay, either this is a glitch in the Matrix or these Charizard UPCs are actually printed to absolute oblivion and there's going to be a ton of them. And people weren't sure, because you got to keep in mind, for the window of time, the Charizard UPC came off of the back of like the Celebrations UPC. The Celebrations UPC at release was a $300 UPC. And believe it or not, the Celebrations UPC just stayed stagnant at $300 for years. But you never really had an opportunity to pick it up for MSRP, the $119.99. Yes, obviously, you got your GameStop drops and your Pokemon Center. And then I got one. I got mine from BestBuy.com, waiting in the Best Buy queue. That's how I got my one. So yes, you were able to get them at MSRP, but it wasn't like you could just go willy-nilly onto Pokemon Center and pick up a Celebrations UPC. It just, Celebrations UPCs just really didn't exist, and they were just not printed a lot. And then that's why still to this day you see the huge premium with that metal Charizard obviously being tough to grade, the Pikachu, the gold Pokeball, the Pikachu, obviously a bunch of Celebrations packs and a lot of other sets in there too. The Celebrations UPC was a strong product that just didn't have a ton of availability. The Charizard UPC was the complete opposite. As hard as the Celebrations UPC was to get, was as easy as the Charizard UPC was to get. And it was just out there. And prices dropped. And it dropped for one of the stronger products we have ever seen. One, 3 exclusive Charizard artworks. You got the Godzilla Charizard VMAX, you got the Sleepy Charizard V, and then you got the beautiful Charizard V-Star fighting the Mewtwo. There was never anybody that looked at those 3 cards and said, these are terrible promos. Everybody looked at those promos, and it was across the board, everybody's like, these are going to be good, not just in the short term, which first to market plays of those. My channel, a lot of my history of my channel is based off of doing those plays, speed grading the first to market, finding out how rough the 10s were, looking at the print quality, blah, 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 all the added layers that were those Charizard UPCs. And then people said, I think even in the long term, these cards are going to do really well. And then there was a period of time where you could actually pick up just the 3 promos for like between 20 and 25 bucks. And it's like, I don't think this price point is going to last forever. I feel like people are just sleeping on this. And a lot of people, shout out to Mr. Rusty TCA Gaming. My man Rusty said, if there's a Charizard UPC promo seal packet that existed, I'll take it. Well, every chance he got it. He just, enough where he just, I don't even know how many. He had just a bazillion Charizard UPC promos. And why? Well, he just believed in the product. He believed in the cards. And the amount that he's sitting on still this is day is an ungodly amount of number. And we're seeing exactly that card play out in the future. Now we're starting to see each one of those promos. God, people would cut off their right leg to pick up a seal pack of the 3 of them for $25. But we're so far past that moment. But all that happened. And then the Charizard UPC, not to mention it had solid packs in it, including, but not even limited to, Evolving Skies. There was 2 Evolving Skies packs. It was a great product. But prices crashed. And then we saw the same thing happen with 151. Again, 151, do we just have to keep singing the praises of Ultra Premium collections? What did 151 have? Exclusive Mew artwork in there. A Mew that was in the Japanese 151 set. We never saw it in our English set. Absolutely crazy, stunning, beautiful artwork. Mew EX. And then you had exclusive Mewtwo artwork. Again, was an IR in the Japanese 151, but was a promo for us. And then you had the Metal Mew, which it's still a solid card. I'm not going to shit on the Metal Mew. It is a reprint of the gold card in the set, but 3 solid promos. And then what packs did it have inside it? 151 packs. One of the sets that is arguably agreed upon throughout the whole hobby. Like, what? Ask me right now. What set am I picking up right now? What is the number one set? What is the number one thing I've been actively buying? My number one thing I've been actively buying? Loose 151 packs. Why? Because I just see the longevity in it, and I just see that being a set that people are going to want to open up for years. All that said, what did the 151 UPC do? Dropped at Costco until eventually they sat on shelves for $80. That is correct. If you took a guess, $80 for the Charizard UPC, $80 for the Mew 151 UPC. That's the thing. And both those cards, or both those products, universally agreed upon as being great sets. The Charizard UPC universally enough that people were pre-ordering it for $300, and then, just foaming at the mouth for these things. And then same thing with the 151. And then this weird thing happened. When it's available, nobody wants it. Even with all the and we always talk about fundamentals, right? Fundamentals of a product. Like, does the product check all the boxes for you? And it's like, check, 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 check. That's what that product did. This is now we coming to this. Now, are these exclusive artworks? No. But do they have stamps on it? Yes. Do people love stamps? Yes. Does it have an amazing artwork on it with the Team Rockets Moltres EX stamp for $119.99? Yes. Now, this is the difference, and this is where it's going to be the hardest to navigate a product like that. We are in a different market right now. Now, we could have been asking ourselves the question, what has Pokemon been printing? Now, we can go, are we going to see the amount of print supply of this? Is this going to be reflected of a Celebrations-esque UPC? Or is this going to be more reflective of a Charizard Ultra Premium collection or a Mew 151 Ultra Premium collection? Is it going to be more reminiscent of those, where these things just get printed into mass? Because now you got to ask yourself a question. What is Pokemon potentially trying to do? they might be potentially trying to get packs in the hands of collectors. And one of the best ways to do that is to create a product with a relatively cheap price point, relative being subjective, $119.99, has awesome promos in it, and then also has 18 packs inside of it. Shout out to Son of Mewtwo. Appreciate you gifting the 20 PK memberships. Son of Mewtwo, Tap, both of you guys are all stars. Now, if that is the case, this could be where all the printing has been going. And this could be the reason why for the new Mega Evolution set, we're only seeing 60% of allocations at release. And then we're going back to like pretty much the wave system. The wave system is not new. Shout out to old Chillin' Rain and Fusion Strike. And as I walk through the valley of $79.95 booster box, I fear no evil. We could be going back to a semi-wave system. But, and then you look, it's like, well, are people getting more product from distribution than they were in the past? And yeah, and about the numbers across the board, I've seen as low as like 7%. I've seen as high as people are getting greater allocations of like 15. But I would say on average, most people are getting about a 10% bump in their allocation numbers. And again, this is very anecdotal. This is only coming from a handful of people. I don't know an unlimited amount of people with distribution. But from what I've gathered, it seems to be about on average a 10% across the board increase. But now, a 10% bump does mean more of this Mega Evolution set was probably printed based off of allocation numbers. But when you take into account people are getting 60% of it at release instead of the full 100, that 10% doesn't really matter too much. So then it brings up the question of what was Pokemon printing? And then people are saying, man, who knows? Maybe they're printing 151 again. Maybe they're printing this. Or maybe they were printing this. Because now you got to keep in mind, these packs, there was once upon a time where I used to think that the packs that went in random tins and collection boxes, I used to think that those packs were like leftover stock. Like Pokemon, like example, for the Arceus V figure collection box, awesome box, cool Arceus figure collection, cool figure. It's actually, I got one right back there. But the reason why that box was really nice was because it had a Cosmic Eclipse pack in it. And the question was, is this just like a big reprint of Cosmic Eclipse and they just had a ton of packs sitting there and they're just like, all right, we need 4 different sets for this product. Let's throw one Cosmic Eclipse and this is how we'll get rid of our Cosmic Eclipse backstop. I always kind of thought that in my brain. I never thought that actual products were printed to demand, like, for the Arceus V box, we're going to print just these 4 sets. I never thought that until those stupid, whatever they were called, they had the 3 Paldea Evolve packs in it and the 2 Silver Tempest God packs in it. Obviously, the Silver Tempest God packs throwing that entire notion out the window for me, where I was like, oh, none of these products are print to demand, like, or print to order. Not print to demand, print to order. I said that's not possible. But then when the Silver Tempest God packs were all in a single product, it was like, yeah, that really fucking seems to be an actual print run of a product. And whatever happened, like whatever algorithm Pokemon's feeders used to feed in packs, somehow the Silver Tempest got messed up and all the God packs came out. And like, that's not a question of, that's not like tinfoil hat. Like, we know that a huge amount of God packs went out in a single product, which threw out my entire reasoning that I ever had in the past. So now going with the Silver Tempest God packs in mind, it makes me think that there were just an actual printing of these sets. So a printing of SV Base, a printing of Paldea Evolve. I do not believe that any of the packs going into this product is just leftover stock. And I don't even know what we imagine like leftover stock is, just like a bunch of loose packs and like, I don't know, giant wooden crates or whatever, and they're all, I don't think that. I think that this was a concerted print wave of all these sets for this product. And if that's the case, there could be the potential that this product is just floods the market. And the same way as we saw 151 UPCs hit Costco, the same way we saw Charizard UPCs hit the Costcos and your Sam's Clubs and your Walmarts and your Pokemon Centers and your distribution, and it just kept hitting the market and hitting the market and hitting the market, and then eventually it was enough to get the products down to $80. Could Pokemon be looking at this and looking at their track record in the past? Because when you think about it, and Pokemon I don't know what Pokemon thinks. We're always saying if we were in the boardroom of Pokemon, what would they want? If they were just looking around at each other and going, we can't print anything right now and quell any of this demand, people would look around and be like, yeah, you sure as hell can't print Pokemon Center ETBs. It's got a stamp promo. And everybody just looked around and it's like, when was the last product we have that like killed the market on anything? Maybe old Timmy in the back rose his hand and said, well, the Charizard UPC crashed the 80, the 151 UPC crashed the 80, and those are literally two of the strongest products we ever had. Could this be our Trojan horse right there? And or the sneak behind enemy lines? Old Helena of Troy, that dirty, dirty slut her. Is this going to be our way to get behind the Trojan wall? Maybe. And they said, well, if we do a concerted effort and we make a premium product with 18 packs, 18 packs is a way to get packs into people's hands. Now, if you could this be where the printing is? I don't know. Don't you for a second think I'm sitting here and telling you this is what's going on. I'm just trying to brainstorm this with you real time right now and just saying, like, what could be the thought? Now, all the shit I just said could be meaningless. We could see a Celebrations UPC where just none of these exist, or an example where none of these hit Costco, none of these hit big box retail. We do not get a 151 or Charizard UPC S type drop where these things are just mass dumped at big box retail, and really there's no bigger box retail than Costco. And like, that's the thing, there's a group of people in this hobby, when I say Charizard UPCs big dumped at, big box, and Mew 151 151 UPCs, there's a lot of people's brains who are now conditioned that they don't even believe that. I honestly mean that. I think that there is a group of people that are now entering this hobby, that are new to this hobby, that when you say, well, 151 UPCs were $80, I don't even think their brains could like comprehend that. Like, literally that sentence doesn't even compute to them, where it seems like an impossibility. Like, almost as if I sit here and I say, well, this exact scenario happened with this product, they just are thinking to themselves like, no, that is literally impossible, PK. And it's like, 151 UPCs could never be 80. Charizard UPCs with 3 distinct Charizard artworks and evolutions packs in it, there's no way that that product could ever have dropped to $80. What PK is saying right now is not possible, but it is. Does that make sense? It is. And I just think that there's just people out there who just refuse to believe that that is not just a possibility, but that that's even ever happened. It's almost like when people want to start to can't talk. Maybe this is Arceus's way of saying, PK, stick your foot in your mouth right now. I almost feel like this is people's way of, they almost want to rewrite history. They want to rewrite it as if those two scenarios never happened and they never played out the way I just mentioned. They're going to be like, well, people didn't like Charizard UPCs. Well, no, they did. Trust me, they did. And then Mew 151 UPCs, it's like, people didn't like them. It's like, no. Trust me, they did. they did. But, and it's like, but this will be, it would be interesting. If this product could, oh my God, I don't even have my phone anymore. I mean, this could be your Trojan horse. Did I leave my phone upstairs? Nope, here's my old phone. So let's just see. In theory, if you could get $80 UPCs at big box retail. Again, I say $80 UPCs at big box retail. MSRP is $119.99 or $119.99. It's possible for 80 at distribution. So 80 divided by 18, that's $4.44 per pack for pretty much every single Sword and Shield set. Or sorry, Scarlet and Violet set. I said Sword and Shield. So $4.44 for every single Scarlet and Violet set. This could be Pokemon's last hurrah. This could be their ace up their sleeve. This could be, or maybe this is just their last play. Because we've all said, what is it going to take for Pokemon to get prices down? And what everybody always says is it's going to take, one, when you have unprecedented demand, you need unprecedented printing. That is really all it's going to take. Unprecedented printing to match unprecedented demand. But right now, that unprecedented demand, that X factor is just so far greater than anything Pokemon could print. So far. I don't know a better product, personally, that could potentially get packs in people's hands of every set. Because when I say get packs of every set, the way my brain is wired, and probably a lot of yours out there wired, is you think about individual SKUs. So you're thinking 3-pack blisters, booster bundles, ETBs, booster boxes, and probably booster boxes being one of the best ways because it's the most condensed way you're going to get packs. 36 loose packs for potentially the cheapest way. But the problem with all the things I just said, the check lanes and the 3-packs and the booster bundles and the ETBs and the booster boxes, those are all just one singular set. And I think Pokemon's realizing when they only pump out one set at a time, market demand is just so strong it could eat up it all. Now, this is a product, or at least a Trojan horse type product, where they could dump multiple sets at once to people. And it goes back to the question now. Is the demand in the hobby too strong? There's a couple of layers. If enough of these get printed, the promos in these sets, in this UPC, will become very, very cheap. Again, the new person in the hobby is going to go, no way these promos get cheap. You remember the Mew that I talked about from 151 when those UPCs were $80? The Mew promo was $2.25. That sealed Mewtwo promo was $1.25. So between, the Mew and the Mewtwo, let's just round up and call it $5. There was $5 in value between those two promos. Again, there's a group of people out there who'll be like, the Mew was never $2.25. The Mewtwo was never $1.25. They were. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Sorry to be the bad guy in this situation. So there does come a number, even with an awesome Team Rocket's Moltres EX, where the promos pretty much lose all their value because there's just too many of them. And the demand is just not strong enough. And because the promos don't have value, the UPC drops, and then you need all this stuff. It's like a cascading effect. You remember those Charizard UPCs? I graded some of the first ones to market, and they were several $100s because they were quick to the market. I paid $100 a piece to grade those cards, by the way, for my Charizard UPCs. And I was very, very lucky. I sent 18 on my first submission. I got a crazy high 10 rate for how impossible that first print wave of Charizard UPCs promos were. They were very, very rough. And I ended up cleaning up. And you know what? Those prices just kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And they dropped for a long time. And it was just because of the first to market play that I did with those. And you can go back. You could go back and watch my lives. I talked about that for a long, long time. Again, I think my channel is coming into a weird position where I don't think I need to talk to a lot of people as if they haven't watched my older videos. I do actually believe that a lot of my viewers, because my view counts aren't going up, but I'm seeing like subscriber growth staying steady. I think a lot of people have probably seen my older videos. So maybe you know that the shit I'm saying right now is not made up. But, I mean, maybe this is the product, or at least maybe this is Pokemon's attempt. But I could be wrong. I can't think of another product that was released that tanked worse than in recent memory. And I could be wrong. And let me know down in the chat if you could think of a product that tanked worse than the Charizard UPC or the Mew UPC. I can't think of any products that really were just crazy hyped at release and then just crashed and sold below MSRP and pretty substantially below MSRP. Like these things MSRP for $119.99. So for them to sell for $80, that is a 66% of MSRP pretty much. And I can't think of any other modern product that really was selling for 66% of MSRP. Maybe booster boxes like your Chillin' Reign and your Fusion Strike, because those were $80 a box. But it was a different timeline. It wasn't the same timeline. It was close. No, it wasn't. It was a different timeline. Especially, obviously, 151 UPCs were Scarlet and Violet. There wasn't even Sword and Shield. So maybe some older, or I call them older booster boxes. Oh God, here we are. Here we are, chat, calling Sword and Shield booster boxes older booster boxes. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure there's other products that were selling for 66% of MSRP, but nothing at the scale that UPC. So maybe Pokemon's just looking at the track record of products that they could pump out. I don't know. I'll tell you what's going to happen, though. Mega Evolutions, 60% allocations at release is going to be a dark time for the hobby. Booster boxes are going to go wildly expensive. And that's the thing. Even if you have a product like this, which I guess could have the potential to kill market demand, when you have a Mega Evolutions booster box, which is going to have the potential every time, and I'm getting tired of saying this because eventually it has to stop, because perpetuity and foreverness is a long time, but Mega Evolutions is going to come out and be the most successful booster box of a main expansion at release. Before that, it was Destined Rivals, which was literally the set right before the Mega set. Destined Rivals, it is and continues to be the most successful modern product booster box released. For the release window, the highest price at release, the highest price it is now. Destined Rivals booster box, what are they creeping up? Almost $300+ now. They were $200+ at release, crushing their MSRP price of $163. Like, Destined Rivals is the most successful booster box at release. Mega Evolutions, unfortunately, is probably going to take that throne, and Destined Rivals will be the second most successful booster box at release. And the sure reason why is because there's only going to be 60% of this product dropped at release, and we're going to have to wait a long time to get that, a long time being subjected. In this hobby, a day might as well be a freaking eternity. It could be years upon years upon years, but we're going to have to wait for that other 40%, and the Mega Evolution set is just going to go wild at release. And when you have another set, when you have back-to-back most successful modern releases in the history of this hobby, that is not a good sign for crushing consumer confidence. It's just not. In fact, that is the worst sign if you want to crush consumer confidence and you want to try to pull back the craziness of the market. And the only reason why I say that is because if consumer confidence is there, prices are going to be there. And if the secondary market prices are there, the scalpers will be able to exist. And if scalpers can exist buying from Walmart, paying sales tax, paying full MSRP, and still making a margin afterwards, as long as that exists and continues to exist, the hobby and the market does not get better. Does this product potentially help that? I don't know. This is going to be a litmus test right now. You want a true heat check of the hobby. This is a true heat check of the hobby because it's a high price point. So it'll be interesting. How many of these UPCs exist? Are prices crazy high at release? Do we not just get flooded with these things for an extremely long time? Is there no way that Pokemon could just print this stuff enough time to get it down to $80? Do we never see them drop at Costco for $80? Do we never see them drop at Sam's Club? Do we never see that happen? Because if all that stuff never happens and that hypothetical never plays out, one, it goes back to what the hell has Pokemon been printing in the meantime? Because if it isn't this UPC, I have no clue what they've been printing. Listen, this is just a thought experiment. That's all this channel is. Listen, you are dumb enough to tune in to the ramblings of a madman. You guys have watched as I've slowly descended to madness over the last many, many years. I think we're getting pretty close, get close to 800 videos on this channel. There's a lot of ramblings of a madman. But, I don't know. I'm just watching this. I'm just going to watch it play out. And this could be it. This could be the possibility to get packs in people's hands. And we're going to find out if we go log on to Walmart and you could order 10 per person and the order limits are unlimited, just like it was for the Charizard UPC, and you could go on Pokemon Center and they never sell out. And no matter how many bots try because you know what? Products like this are the products that defeat the bots too, just so you know. Because if these are readily available and more or less print to demand in a way, and that was the thing too, like when Charizard UPCs came out, it was like Charizard UPCs can never be produced in a massive way enough to be print to demand because there's too many levels that go into it. The little cardboard draws and the metal dice and the metal coin and all this and the box and everything. And then the box has a little magnet on it. There's like too many added layers. It's like there's no way a product like this could be print to demand. And then Pokemon's just like, hold my beer. Hold my beer. Let me show you that we can, in fact, print a ton of this and crush the demand. Because there was a demand for that, but they crushed it. So it is possible. Is it possible in this market? I don't know what's possible in this market. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's not. Maybe, you know what? I'll tell you what. It's against my best interests for this to crush the market. Full transparency, full send right there. It's against my best interests. But I'm trying to brainstorm. It's like, what could be the product? If this is not the product that breaks consumer confidence and gets cheap packs into people's hands and drops below MSRP, if this is not it, what could be? Sure as hell is not the Mega Evolution set. It sure as hell is not, what is it, the Phantasmal Flames Charizard Gengar Mega set. It sure as hell isn't the Charizard Gengar Mega set that breaks consumer confidence. And then what? We have to just pray that the 30th anniversary is the biggest flop in the set release history of Pokemon. I don't see any of that happening either. So if this doesn't work for Pokemon to quell demand, you better strap in on your rocket ship because we are blasting away. Just like Team Rocket blasting off again, we are blasting off again if that's the case. All right. With that said, my name is PK. This is the Poke Knowledge YouTube thing. Anyways, we got Mr. Jonathan Flint. Jonathan Flint, good to see you, buddy. We got number one mod in the game, Drew. Drew, good to see you. We got iFOMO. Son of Mewtwo said, what up, PK? What up, Drew? Number one mod in the game right there. And Drew is the number one mod. Got a lot of people in the chat right now. I see we got Mr. J. York. Katie Lowen says, PK, Drew, Son of Mewtwo. Absolute legends. Appreciate seeing all you guys. So Katie says, I bought Destin Rivals booster boxes at $240. How cooked am I? Katie, you're doing pretty good right now. Destin Rivals are $300+ a booster box. And right now, no Destin Rivals reprints in sight. I don't have 20/20 vision. It could be right around the corner. We're already starting to see, we did already start to see Paradox Rift booster box reprints, Stellar Crown. If you go on Hills Wholesale Gaming, you'll see all those booster boxes got reprinted and stuff. Not huge, though. Just some of the big distributors got it, maybe. And unless they just managed to find a ton of stock. Son of Mewtwo said, Charizard UPCs had a crazy timeline, yeah. Let's see. Blue Water Collectible says, I don't get why the cards are stamped with Destin Rivals' assortment of packs. I don't know either. Pokemon doing Pokemon things. Chev says, Zard UPC was the only product to contain Evolving Skies God Packs. Rusty also confirmed this. Chevs, not only did Rusty confirm this, I opened said Evolving Skies God Packs. I was there. I was opening them. I watched as we pulled 3 Mewtwo's and 1 pack open. And I was there. I saw multiple Rayquazas get pulled. You want to know what I pulled out of my Evolving Skies God Pack? A hyper rare Trevenant V-Star. Poor PK. That's what I pulled. Trevenant V-Star Hyper Rare. Let's see. So Joe says, how much will Mega Evolution's booster boxes be by October? So what do they release? September, end of September. What? September like 26, I think is the release day. September 26th. So by October, I mean, if they're at 60%, we could be seeing, this is going to be crazy to say because it's a modern set, 270, 300, easy. I mean, they could release at 300. I mean, Destined Rivals released at 230, 250. We're living in a simulation, bro. Like, that's possible. And the only reason why it's possible is because we're only seeing 60% of them at allocation, or allocation at release. This is another thing, too. Is there so many people that have waited for these reprints to come because the long majority, well, that's not, see, this is a lie, too. This is where the story, not every set gets reprinted, but for the sets were available, so they didn't need to get reprinted. But for the long majority of the hobby, when a set did need a reprint, it got one. In this recent timeline we're living in, the sets that needed a reprint didn't get one, or at least haven't got one yet. You know, Surge and Sparks feels like forever ago. Surge and Sparks booster boxes just keep going up. It's like Surge and Sparks needed a reprint, never really got it. Journey Together didn't need a reprint, but luckily never got one. Destined Rivals needs a reprint, needed a reprint. But this is the thing, like, as the timeline keeps moving, and these sets get older and older, keep in mind, older and older in this hobby, I always say there's one person in the history of this hobby that's undefeated. That's Father Time. Our understanding of how timelines in this hobby works right now is so broken anyways. Like, our timelines now is like 6 months, 8-month timelines. You might well think that was 25 years ago. That's when you could still buy base set, packs for $2 on, clearance shells and stuff. Like, that's how long 8 months ago in this hobby feels. But, like, a lot of these sets didn't get reprints and stuff. But you also look at the demand for the modern stuff, and it's like, how much of a concerted effort can Pokemon go back and print each set individually? Because if it's just one and done, the market's just strong enough, it eats all this stuff up. This hobby is just this unstoppable force, unquenching, like, demand. So it's just, we're in this weird timeline right now, and consumer confidence right now of Pokemon is at an all-time high. And then you're going to be like, PK, are you positive or are you negative? Oh, I promise you, I am so positive right now. I have spent the most money in Pokemon in the last 2 years than I have in the entire history of me in this hobby. The last 2 years, there's been more money spent. And you don't want to know why? Because I'm just keep getting rewarded. And eventually, it will end. But the question is, when? And when the train finally does derail, or the train does realize that, oh shit, there's no more tracks ahead of us, we're just going off this cliff right now, when that day does happen, the question is, does it affect me? Because while that train was chugging down the tracks for the last 2+ years, and I've been piling in at the hardest I've ever been piling in to anything, could me and the train going off the edge of the cliff, could that be enough to erase the miles and miles and miles and miles of tracks behind? And the question is, right now where I've positioned myself, I don't know if that's possible. Cataclysmic events would have to take place, maybe? But even that, but that's a problem now. It's being rewarded and continuously being rewarded. So now you're so rewarded, you have shielded yourself from any sort of downturn. It's like anything that you do in your life. If you just been piling in, like, at what point do you just not care anymore? It's just like, I don't know. Let's say you've just been stacking money into your 401k. You've been working a job for, you started this job, you were 18 years old, you were right out of high school, you never went to college, you just right out of high school, you started a job, you're 18, and you worked that job from 18 until you were 68, and you're getting ready, you're going to collect full Social Security, and from the age of 18 to 68, you've been doing the employee match, you've been doing, you've been contributing whatever, like, you can from your paycheck, and you've just had your 401k build up. When you hit 68, and if you see like a pullback in the market of 20%, or you see like a crazy COVID-esque pullback and it's a 40% pullback in the entire stock market, when you're 68, that's really going to suck, because you're going to be getting ready for retirement, and you're probably looking at your 401k balance and you're saying like, I'm in a good position. But when you're 68 and that 20% or 40% pullback happens, do you look at your entire timeline of putting money into that 401k from the time you were 18 and you graduated high school till you're 68 and you're getting ready to retirement and go, you know what? I had 20% pullback right before I was about to retire. I really wish I didn't put money in from the time I was 18 to the time I was 68. I really wish I didn't do that. That was dumb, because look, I just had a 20% pullback. No, you would never say that. And so we're all running into that same scenario, but with Pokemon. It's like, you've been piling money in. Maybe it's not from 18 to 68, so maybe it's not 50 years of your life lived putting money in, but maybe it's, we talk about people. The new person probably entered 2 years ago. The now seasoned veteran remember, they were the new person in 2020, so now they've been doing that shit for 5 years. And then everybody that entered before that during the Pokemon Go boom, you remember during the Pokemon Go boom of 2016, by the time 2020 rolled around and COVID and all the lockdowns, all the people from 2016 look like freaking savants. They look like they were playing Beethoven on the piano blindfolded, and they'd never played a piano a day in their life. They became Mozarts. And why? It was like, because the timeline they entered was 2016 during Pokemon Go boom, and they just were in a great position by 2020. So now all those people are 9 years into the hobby. And then you got your other people entering into the, during your black and whites and stuff. So that 2011 timeline. And then some people entered in like Diamond and Pearl, and some people entered in at the end of the Nintendos and stuff in your 2007, 2008. And those people, it's like, wow, that person's been here for 2007. We're coming up on their 20th anniversary. We're 2 years away from their 20th anniversary of being back into the hobby or whatever. And it's like, these people forget about Mozarts, forget about Beethoven. These people are the Leonardo da Vinci's of the world, and they are creating flying machines on paper, and we won't see it until 1903, and the fucking Wright brothers invent an airplane, and they do what's considered the first flight in 1903. They are the Leonardo da Vinci's of this hobby, because now they've big-brained so far beyond anything. So it's like, when I talk about that train track just being so long before you get to the edge of the cliff, every day that goes on, it's like every second of every minute of every week of every year, it's just, we're going further and further down the track, and people are just making more and more money. And like, because this happens, people's confidence are just going through the roof. My confidence is, my roof is destroyed. I've already passed lower atmosphere, upper atmosphere. I'm past the moon. I've already slingshotted. I'm already halfway to Mars right now. And you know what? Eventually, I'm going to make it to Uranus. Think about it. Because that is my trajectory right now. All right. With that said, let's keep it going. Joey Boyd says, will Destined Rivals booster boxes stay more expensive than Mega Evolutions? I don't know. Depends if we see more Destined Rivals booster boxes. Right now it's just, oh my god, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. Well. Mr. Basic Trainer. The man, the myth, the legend. Basic Trainer. There is something I want to show you that only you could appreciate. Basic Trainer, if I could find it. I wasn't expecting a Basic Trainer. No, Basic Trainer. I don't have it. I've lost it. I've lost my marbles. I've lost my brain. And I lost what I want to show you, Basic Trainer. Oh, no. Basic Trainer. Well, I will have to explain to you what I got, Basic Trainer, because I've lost it. And you were literally the only person that could appreciate it. Oh. If you know, you know. But, no, basic trainer. I can't find it. Anyways, basic trainer. I got myself some Canadian Danable yogurt sealed Charizard. Yes, I got a sealed one at Collecticon in Charlotte. I want to show it to you. Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of sealed ones, buddy. So I saw a sealed one. Made me think of you. It's got a little rip in the plastic, but nothing crazy. I never see those babies sealed. And you are like the only other person that I know, basic trainer, that could truly appreciate a card of that caliper. So, Pokemage says PK, those Insta rips almost pulled me the other night. Scratches the slot machine itch in my brain. Yeah, there's a lot of craziness going on right now. Sona Mewtwo says just reprint the Neo packs or bring them back for the 30th. I need my old hollow foils. Oh no, I jumped to the bottom. Wait a second. We got last pack of Magikarp. I appreciate the super chat. He said, PK, any chance you're going to the New Jersey Collecticon in November? There is a good likelihood that I could definitely try to make that. Nothing is guaranteed, but I will definitely try. I appreciate the super chat though. Last pack Magikarp. But yeah, if there is any, it's really going to depend in November of what the weather is like. If, Northeast weather is pretty shitty, then I won't be going to New Jersey Collecticon. But if it's nice and we get like a nice warm November, which we do get on a very, very rare occasion, I'll definitely be there. So basic trainer said he's doing good. He took a little break after 13 years of grinding in the hobby. Basic trainer, we need a basic trainer appearance very soon. So Basic says, so my prediction's been right on saying the November boom will bridge into the 30th anniversary, or is it? I think it's bridging into the 30th anniversary. Like, I just did my whole rant at the beginning, but I don't really believe that it's going to be enough. But you know what? I'm willing to be wrong. That's the thing, too. I don't think this Moltres is that Trojan horse and going to knock down the $80 for UPC. And I don't personally think that, but I could definitely see a scenario in which it happens. And if that happens, that's fine. Like, I'm going to be buying this at MSRP when it's released. Same way as I bought the Celebrations UPCs and the same way I bought the Charizard UPCs. And both those dropped down to 80. I never lost a wink of sleep when that happened. I don't know if I'm going to lose a wink of sleep if it does happen for this. Now, I think it's going to be harder for a product like this for that to happen to. But for anybody to rule it out and say that that is impossible is just ignoring all history. LL says Vivid tanked on reprint. Vivid Voltage definitely tanked on reprints. Yes. Vivid did not tank after release. Vivid exploded at release from, I think so. Vivid was really the last set you could pre-order. So Vivid Voltage you could pre-order between like 95 and 110, depending on if you're supporting your local game store or not, paying that 110. And then Vivid Voltage at release, 220, 240, 260. Some people said confirmed sales at 280. I never technically saw confirmed sales at 280, but I mean, you could go back. Rudy made videos where people were trying to dump their positions of Vivid Voltage at one point that they'd bought at 220. So there was definitely buyers of Vivid Voltage. And that was one of those sets that people were upside down on for a long time. So yeah, definitely very true. So Sun Mewtwo says Megas are going to go crazy. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I keep saying this. This next Mega Evolution set, it's not a bad set, but it's going to be the worst of the Mega sets because that Phantasmal Flame with a... I've seen the Charizard Mega releases, like the SARs with the different... you got, like, the Mega Charizard X and the Y, and then you got a Charmander on there, Charmeleon. I don't know if we've had definitive answers of whether or not that card is real or not, but if you know, you know. And if that card is real... forget about it. Forget about it. Like, that set's going to be so crazy. That's going to be $1,000+ card, just like every other modern chase card is at release. And then eventually prices will crash, and then it'll be the same thing. And people are like, oh my god, I can't believe this super modern card that is currently being opened in mass at the highest rate that it will ever be opened. I cannot believe that this card has gone down in value. We'll keep seeing that type of conversation. As Joey says, they are not reprinting booster boxes anymore. They are only reprinting booster bundles. Well, except for booster boxes. They literally just printed Mr. Joe. Pull Father said he did pull a Moonbreon out of his RPC, UPC. Nice. Pokey PU says, will Chinese outpace Japanese because of simplified card? I don't know. I just keep buying Chinese. I would say that my number one purchase has been Chinese cards in the last over a year. So I like Chinese cards before it was cool to like Chinese cards. So Ty Guy says, PK fire on last night on the late night. Almost missed it. Appreciate it, Ty. Pokemon. Let's see. Would you trade 6 Chillin' Rain cases for a first edition Team Rocket boxes, or should I hold? I don't know what the heck 6 cases of Chillin' Rain booster boxes cost. I have no clue. I don't know, man. What do you? I get too many questions I would have to ask. What do you want to do with it? Which one do you value more? How many cases of Chillin' Rain booster boxes do you have? Are you trading 6, but you have 36 of them? Then, assuming that the prices are comparable, I would say do it if that's what you have. But if you're like, no, I only have 6 cases, I don't know. I honestly, I don't think I've ever been in that situation. 6 cases of Chillin' Rain, or for a first edition Team Rocket box. I don't know. I just don't know what 6 cases cost. So because I don't know the prices, or I mean, I could kind of guess what a Team Rocket box is right now. But I don't know. That's a good question. That's one of those that I'd have to look at the numbers and see if it makes sense. And it's going to really just break down to where you're. I guess the question is, do I think in a year from now, first edition Team Rocket boxes outpace Chillin' Rain? Now, if you asked me this question a couple months back, I would have said the Team Rocket box because I thought a lot of the vintage boxes were undervalued. So did Dan. How do we think that? Because we were buying them. In January, I broke an unlimited base set box. In February, on the channel, we broke a Jungle First Edition. I personally broke a Fossil First Edition booster box in March. Then we opened up a base set 2 box in April. Then in May, I opened a Team Rocket First Edition booster box. And by the time, and we picked up and by we, I mean the channel. We picked it up 2 months before the break because we believed that box was going to explode in price in the next 2 months, so we didn't want to wait. And by the time we opened that box, without doing anything with it, it had already gone up, depending on where you wanted to sell it, between $5,000 to $7,000 in that 2-month timeline. So if you asked me then, I would have said, because I thought a lot, and so did Dan, that a lot of these vintage boxes were undervalued, especially because of the value that could be ripped from it. Then I would have told you that, because we literally put our money where our mouth was. And by we, I mean not my money, Dan's money. Put his money where his mouth was and picked it up 2 months early because of worried about that exact situation. So I guess it does depend. The problem is Team Rocket First Edition has just seen such an increase right now. And 6 cases of Chillin' Rain, that is a lot of packs of Chillin' Rain. That is a lot of booster boxes. I like the thought of having 36 boxes to just spread out over the years. And it's like, when you have 36, because you're talking 6 cases, so now you could either say we're selling them as sealed cases, so we got 6 individual seals we can do, or we could break open all those cases and trickle out 36 boxes, and you could trickle out 36 boxes for the next 10-15 years, and you're just selling a couple boxes. And I think Chillin' Rain keeps going up. The problem with that first edition Team Rocket booster boxes, that's it. When you have that is now where all your money is. So even if you outperform Chillin' Rain, you don't have the ability to ever split it up. Yes, you could, in theory, crack open that Team Rocket First Edition booster box, and then you're selling 36 packs from now until this. So technically you'd have more packs, but I don't like the thought of that. I like the thought of having, like, because then you're dealing with heavies, you're dealing with lights. There's a lot of added layers to it. That's a good question. I'd honestly have to think about it more. All right. Let's see. All right, we got to the point where last pack Magikarp. I wrote his question again. Last pack Magikarp. I do appreciate all the support, buddy. Let's see. Shiny Kiwi said, I bought a case of Rebel Clash back in the day for $80 a box. Everyone thought I was crazy, but I knew it would never get a reprint. Sitting pretty right now. You knew! So, I would ask you this. Shiny Kiwi. You said you bought a case of Rebel Clash back in the day for $80 a box, and you knew it wouldn't get a reprint. I guess my question would be for you, Shiny Kiwi. Why the heck did you not remortgage your house? Go to the bank, take out personal loans, sell your car, eat nothing but rice and beans. Why didn't you take loans out from family members? Why didn't you dump every single penny that you have as a human being because you knew, these are your words, not mine, because you knew it would never get a reprint? Why did you not do that? If you knew that, that's what I would have did. I would have did a reverse mortgage. I would have just went crazy. If you knew, I feel like you gotta believe. All right, Son of Mewtwo says, if it's for a play, I'm keeping chilling, but if it's for your PC, you best believe I'm grabbing that rocket box. Yes. All right. Boo boo boo. I only like still 60% of you, 40% of you. I could take or leave it. And then, like, there's a strong 5%. I just really, really don't like the 5% of you. For those of you in the 5%, pew, pew, pew. For those of you in that 35%, yeah. For those of you in the 60%, yo. Appreciate you guys. As always, do me a favor. Don't hit the like button. Don't follow this channel. Eat a bag of dicks.